In this story, you'll uncover why Sylvester Stallone threw down the microphone and stormed off the show, and most shockingly, why Stallone believes Jimmy Kimmel is a liar. Sly, it's an honor, Fallon began, leaning forward with a smile. You look fantastic. What's the secret? The Rocky diet? Spinach and raw eggs? The audience laughed, and Stallone chuckled, his eyes crinkling. Nah, Jimmy, it's just stubbornness. Keep moving, keep working, and don't let the years tell you what you can't do. The crowd applauded, charmed by his humility. They smoothly transitioned to discussing Redemption Road, a drama about a former boxer seeking forgiveness after a tragic mistake. Stallone spoke passionately, his voice brimming with conviction. This film is about second chances, he said. It's about owning your mistakes and fighting for those you love. I think we all need that message right now. The audience nodded, some visibly moved. Fallon nodded too, but his smile seemed forced, his fingers tapping the desk. But Fallon's tone abruptly changed, his smile turning sly. Sly, you're a legend, but let's get to something juicy. You had a beef with Jimmy Kimmel, right? Rumors say you called him a sellout at some event. What's the story? The audience hushed, sensing tension. Stallone's brow furrowed, but he stayed composed. Jimmy, that was a long time ago. I don't like digging up old stories. Let's stick to the film. His voice was firm yet polite, a clear signal to move on. Backstage, Maria clenched her fists, her eyes flashing. He's breaking the agreement, she hissed, texting the producer. In the control room, Greg cursed. I told you he wouldn't hold back, the audience whispered. Some booing Fallon. Fallon raised his hands as if surrendering. All right, Sly, my bad. Didn't mean to push. Let's move on to the film. His smile was forced, but he backed off. The audience exhaled, the tension easing slightly. Stallone, however, wasn't ready to return to light banter. He fixed Fallon with a steely gaze. No, Jimmy, since you brought it up, I'll set the record straight. People love blowing gossip out of proportion, but here's the truth. The audience froze, sensing something big was coming. He leaned forward, his voice deepening. Kimmel and I had a falling out about 10 years ago. It wasn't public, but rumors spread. It was about a charity project I was raising funds for veterans. Kimmel promised support but backed out at the last minute because his show got a better deal from a sponsor. I didn't call him a sellout, but I said I was disappointed. He took it personally, and we've been distant since. Stallone shrugged. I don't hold grudges, but I believe in keeping your word, especially when it's for people counting on you. The audience erupted in applause, struck by his candor. Fallon, caught off guard, gave a nervous laugh. Wow, Sly, that's heavy. I didn't know the details. But his eyes glinted, as if spotting a chance for hype. So you're saying Kimmel ditched veterans for cash? That's a serious accusation. Stallone sharply raised a hand. Don't twist my words, Jimmy. I said he chose a sponsor over veterans. That's his choice, not mine. Don't make it a headline. His tone was razor sharp, and the audience felt the weight of his words. Fallon, sensing he was losing control, went on the offensive. Sly, you're a fighter. Why not just say it? Kimmel's a hypocrite, right? People want the truth. His voice turned mocking, his smile predatory. The audience was riveted, but some booed, sensing Fallon had crossed a line. Backstage, Maria lunged for her phone, while in the control room, Greg shouted, He's tanking the show! Stallone leaned forward, his eyes blazing. Jimmy, I told the truth, but you're not listening. You want a circus, but I'm here to talk about what matters. My film, my work, my principles. If that doesn't interest you, I don't know what you're doing here. The audience roared, some standing and chanting, Sly! Sly, Fallon flushed, his composure cracking. Oh, that's cute, Sly. You're playing the hero, but you're just an actor living off Rocky's old glory. The insult was sharp, and the room gasped. Stallone didn't flinch. Jimmy, I earned every scar I've got. What have you earned, humiliating guests for clicks? His words hit like a punch, and Fallon recoiled. The audience cheered again, rallying behind Stallone. As the show cut to commercial, the studio was a powder keg. Maria yelled into her phone, This is a contract breach. In the control room, Greg threw down his headset. This is over. X is exploding. On X, posts about Sly vs. Fallon and Jimmy crossed the line racked up thousands of likes. Sly just crushed Fallon. Respect, one user wrote. Another, Fallon's a bully. Cancel him. The cameras rolled again and Fallon tried to joke. Well, things got heated, but that's live TV, right? The audience's response was tepid, their support firmly with Stallone. Sly addressed the crowd. Thank you for backing Redemption Road. It's about real values, not this noise. His sincerity sparked cheers. Fallon, still stinging, couldn't resist. Sly, you can play the saint, but everyone knows you've been coasting on Rocky for decades. Time to stop hiding behind old roles, no? The room froze, stunned by his audacity. Stallone stood, his presence towering. I came here with respect, Jimmy. You don't deserve it. These people deserve better. He removed his mic, dropped it on the desk, and walked off. The audience erupted, some cheering, others booing Fallon. Clips of his exit went viral on X instantly. Sylvester Stallone just walked off The Tonight Show, users posted. Celebrities like Dwayne Johnson tweeted, Respect to Sly, stand for your principles. Team Stallone trended globally, and Redemption Road saw a massive surge in interest. What do you think of this confrontation? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the discussion on X with Number Team Stallone and Number Sly was set up. Subscribe to catch the rest of this drama. When Sylvester Stallone vanished behind the curtains of The Tonight Show, leaving Jimmy Fallon stunned and the audience in shock, it seemed the conflict had peaked. But backstage, in the cramped producer's office, a new bombshell dropped. Fallon's assistant, pale with panic, burst in with a tablet. Greg, you need to see this, she exclaimed, handing it to the executive producer. On the screen was an anonymous email sent an hour before the show, titled The Truth About Fallon and Kimmel. It claimed Fallon deliberately provoked Stallone to distract from an old scandal involving Jimmy Kimmel and a major show sponsor. The email included details, names, dates, even snippets of internal correspondence where producers discussed spicing up the show by setting up Stallone. Greg, reading it, felt the blood drain from his face. Is this real? He whispered. The assistant shook her head. I don't know, but it's already on X. Someone leaked it right before Sly walked off. X was ablaze. Fallon set up Stallone? Anonymous email exposes conspiracy. Sly was set up. Greg tossed the tablet down. If this is true, we're screwed. If not, it's still a disaster. Meanwhile, Stallone, escorted by Maria, headed for the studio exit. His phone buzzed with notifications, but he ignored them, his face stern yet calm. Maria, still fuming, said, Sly, we can sue. This was sabotage. He paused, looked at her, and said quietly, Maria, I don't want lawsuits. I want people to see who's who. The truth always comes out. He didn't know the truth was already surfacing, faster than he could imagine. Back in the studio, Fallon tried to salvage the show. His voice trembled as he joked, Well, that was an interesting night, huh? The audience gave weak chuckles, their gazes cold. The once warm spotlights now seemed to pin him like an interrogation beam. In the control room, Greg got a call from NBC's vice president. You seen X? It's a nightmare. Figure out where that email came from and prep for crisis PR, now! As the show wrapped, a drained Fallon retreated backstage. His team avoided his eyes, and Greg approached, tablet in hand. Jimmy, we need to talk about this email. Fallon paled. What email? I don't know what you're talking about. But his eyes betrayed panic. Greg scowled. Don't play dumb. If you knew about this Kimmel plan and set up Stallone, your career's done. Meanwhile, Stallone climbed into his car, but Maria insisted, Sly, look at this. She showed him an X thread where the anonymous email was being dissected. Stallone read, his brows rising. So they tried to use me to cover up some dirty deal? His voice was low, but a storm brewed within. Maria nodded. Looks like Fallon was told to dig deep to distract from Kimmel and the sponsor. They didn't expect you to handle it like that. Stallone leaned back, his gaze hardening. I wouldn't take their bait, Maria, but if this is true, people need to know. He pulled out his phone and called his friend, Redemption Road director Ryan Coogler. Ryan, we need to go big. Let's set up a press conference tomorrow. I'll tell everything about the film, tonight, and what's behind these games. By morning, the incident was global. Clips of Stallone dropping the mic and walking off racked up millions of views on X, YouTube, and TikTok. Hashtags #Sly was set up, #Team Stallone, and #Cancel Fallon dominated trends. Celebrities from Dwayne Johnson to Zendaya voiced support for Stallone. Sly's pure class. He stands for truth, not hype, Zendaya tweeted, her post amassing 200,000 likes in an hour. Posts against Fallon were merciless. Fallon thought he could humiliate a legend. Big mistake. Fallon flop. NBC was under siege. Sponsors, including a major advertiser tied to Kimmel's scandal, issued statements about reassessing partnerships with the show. An internal network investigation was announced by noon, but X had already passed judgment. Fallon framed Sly to save Kimmel. NBC, you're next. BuzzFeed and Variety reporters dug into the email, confirming the producer correspondence was authentic. One wrote, "This wasn't just a bad interview. It was a calculated attack on Stallone's reputation." Stallone's press conference the next day in Los Angeles was historic. Under bright lights, surrounded by reporters, he stood in a simple black sweater, his face stern but composed. I went on The Tonight Show to talk about Redemption Road, a film about forgiveness and fighting for what's right, he began. Instead, they tried to use me in their game. I don't play those games. I tell the truth. He recounted his clash with Fallon, the Kimmel feud, and the anonymous email. I'm not blaming Jimmy Kimmel, he said. That's his choice, but I blame those who manipulate people for ratings. The press conference audience and millions watching online erupted in applause. Stallone ended with a call. Hollywood should be about stories that inspire, not dirt that destroys. Let's be better. His words went viral, sparking debates about ethics in entertainment. On X, users wrote, Sly just schooled Hollywood on dignity. Redemption Road. Interest in the film skyrocketed, with premiere tickets selling out in hours. For Fallon, the fallout was catastrophic. NBC suspended him indefinitely, and The Tonight Show's ratings hit a historic low. Sponsors pulled out en masse, and X buzzed with memes. One showed Fallon with the caption, "When you try to take down Rocky but get knocked out yourself." NBC's investigation confirmed producers pressured Fallon to spark a scandal, though he denied knowing the full plot. His ex-apology was met with skepticism. Too late, Jimmy. You picked a side, users wrote. The public discourse went beyond the incident. Articles in The Hollywood Reporter and The New York Times analyzed cancel culture in entertainment, questioning whether Fallon was fairly punished or scapegoated by the network. Others debated the power of producers and sponsors in shaping content. Stallone reminded us principles trump ratings, a Vanity Fair critic wrote, sparking widespread agreement. Back home, Stallone sat in his study, staring at a framed Rocky set photo. His wife, Jennifer, hugged him. You did what you had to, she said. He nodded. Sometimes the fight's not in the ring, but you still gotta stand. This story is about dignity, truth, and the cost of principles. What do you think of Stallone's actions? Does Fallon deserve a second chance, or is his career done? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the X conversation with Team Stallone and Sly was set up. Subscribe for more stories about true strength in Hollywood.